Good morning, Tigers. Hope this message finds you and your family doing well and healthy. To say the 2019 and 2020 school year finished in an abrupt, crazy manner would be an understatement. So we've done our best today to a collaborative effort with all the coaches to bring you video messages and take an opportunity to recognize your accomplishments, your seasons, some of the highlights, and individual awards in the following message. So stay tuned and hope you enjoy the following message from all your coaches.
Love you and look forward to seeing you out on the court.
Hey Tiger Nation, it's Coach Mitchell here for the volleyball team. I'm going to be doing both JV and varsity teams together with the awards for today. First, I wanted to do a lot of thank yous. I want to thank Mr. Hamilton and the other administrators for allowing me to do this. This is wrapping up year number 7 here at Randleman, and we love it here and can't wait to continue coaching. To Coach Tobias and the other coaches, y'all are awesome. We love y'all. Y'all are great and so fun to work with. To my players, love and miss y'all. I really hate we can't do this all together, and can't wait to get back into the gym. To the parents, y'all were so great this year with working the football game and bringing game day meals and working the concession stands. Y'all have been a really great support system for us at Randleman, and I just really appreciate y'all. Let's see, to Bailey Strider, she coached the JV for us this year and such a huge help, and it's really, really awesome to get to work with former players and develop a separate relationship with them. So it was so fun getting Bailey back in the gym this year with us, and I know the girls really appreciated it too. Let's see, our managers, we got Nate Cassidy and Jordan Cantor and Joey Whitaker. Y'all are awesome too. Really loved being able to coach and have them run the drills and run the clocks at the games, and just be there to help whenever we needed them. This year we had scorekeepers for home games who kept the books for us. Maddie Handy and Carly Kennington would come over from the middle school and help just run the game day for us, and it was such a huge relief. I know for the girls, they love that, and it was great to get them into the gym. And then lastly, to my husband and to the grandparents for making our game days possible with football season and then basketball season, and our kids. Grandparents are awesome, so thank you. First, I wanted to talk about our JV. Sorry, I have my notes over here. First, I wanted to recognize the girls. The JV team was Gabby Carter, Tessa Ferguson, Lindsay Gauthier, August Hinkle, Lauren McCain, Anna Ninny, Haley Pascal, Michaela Resch, Mackenzie Roach, Mackenzie Stinson, and Elizabeth York. This team, whatever could happen with us this year did happen. I believe there were 11 of us, and at one point in the season, I think everybody set out at least, almost everybody set out at least one game due to some injury. It was at one point we were down to 6 players and about had to go down to 5 during a match. Not fun, but they did such a great job with handling adversity and being coachable and being willing to learn new positions, and being willing to just do whatever it took to get through a game where, you know, all the injuries, they were not ideal, and we would have absolutely won more games if we had been full force. But they did an awesome job of handling the adversity, being willing to learn new roles. In part, they didn't have a choice, but it was great to see them grow like that. And I think, overall, everybody developed their overall knowledge of the game a lot more because we didn't have our backs were against the wall. We didn't have that option. So it was great to see them handle their adversity, which is really ironic given our situation right now. But I think they did a really great job of coming together and learning, and they were really supportive of each other because we all knew that we were all learning, you know, new roles, new positions on the fly when, you know, you don't always get the team that you thought you would because of injuries, and they did such a great job. They did such a great job, and that gave a lot of people opportunities that they wouldn't normally have. And so that was my favorite part of that team, was being able to see how they handled the adversity and let them grow through that. Not always the most fun, but also more rewarding in a lot of ways. Overall, we went 11-10 with JV. We were 6-5 in conference. Andrews added a JV team as of late, so we were able to pick up that win at the end of the season. We had 2 awards for this team. And Bailey and I had talked about, you know, as far as most improved, there were so many. Everyone improved so much just because we were throwing so many different positions and changes to them. But we thought this one particular player just went through the roof. She was so coachable and so willing to learn. She didn't make it make the team at the middle school, and you know, she was just a great player to have around, and so positive. And when she was like on the bench, when her rotation was front row and she was on the bench, she was so supportive. She was just so, I think, so supportive of her teammates and willing to, you know, sacrifice and be about the team. And, you know, it's a team sport. That's what you need. So our most improved player award goes to Mackenzie Stenson. And just awesome girl. So, hey, Kenzie. Our second award is the Tiger Award, and the Tiger Award is it's not a most valuable or anything, because there's so many people that are so valuable in different ways. But the Tiger Award, we want someone who's to represent what we want and what we expect as coaches. So someone who, you know, does their part on the court, takes all their responsibilities seriously off the court. They take care of their academics, they're coachable, they're teachable, they want to learn, they're asking questions, and you know, they communicate, which is a huge bonus. So someone who kind of does all of those extra little things that we expect, but also we don't always get. This particular player, she had to learn new rotations throughout the season just because of, again, the injuries. But she was very willing to learn. I think she was pretty encouraging for her teammates. But then off the court, she'd ask, what can I do to improve? How can I do this? I don't think she missed a summer workout. I'm pretty sure she didn't. Maybe one or two, and if she did, she communicated very early. So always on time, always helping pick up and clean up the locker room and the gym and breaking down the nets. So our tag award this year for JV goes to Haley Pascal. So, hey Haley. So that wraps up our JV team, but really fun group, and can't wait to get back in the gym with them. Now into varsity. I'll read off the varsity roster real quick. We had Cece Carter, Chloe Dixon, Kenzie Green, Hannah Henshaw, Sophie Macon, Aubrey Manus, Lindsay Peel, Catherine Ann Petty, and Kylie Vaughn. No seniors, so that was a blessing and a curse at times, but really excited for the future, really excited to get this group back too. We started off a little slow, made some changes, changed our mindset a little bit, changed our approach, got on track. We went 18-9 overall, which one of those losses was absolutely to an absolutely illegal call that the refs did not know. But that's side note. Then we got on track and went 10-2 in conference. We finished second in the conference for the second year in a row. We lost in the semis of the conference tournament to Trinity. But because we locked in second place for regular season, we were able to host playoffs again, first round. We matched up again with Farmville Central, and we beat them in 3 in the first round. Really great match, super clean volleyball, just played all around a very good team game. Then we went to Carborough, which is a pretty historical powerhouse and I would have bet could have won state. They lost to the team who went to the state championship, Aiden Grifton, who we lost to last year. But they ended up losing in the state championship. Anyways, had an overall great season. The girls, again, love them. Y'all are awesome. Love getting to be with them every day. And especially exciting knowing that we have another season with this group and just to build and enjoy each other's time together as a team. On to individual awards. Courier Tribune usually has an all-county team, and they did not do that this year, so we didn't have any all-county awards. For all-conference, we had honorable mention. Hannah Henshaw got all-conference honorable mention, and then we had 3 all-conference players with Cece Carter, Mackenzie Green, and Aubrey Manus. For the first time in about 10 years, at least, I think. We had co-players of the year and CC won co-player of the year. So awesome job, CC. Hi. Onto the team awards. Most improved player. I cannot say enough good things about her growth this year. Last year a little bit of a struggle and fought a lot of adversity, but didn't miss a summer workout this past summer. Came to everything, communicated early and often, and really grew into her role. And then on the court, just making plays that she had not made in the past and helping us develop a more complete game as a team. And we're already a pretty balanced team. but just went through the roof with a lot of her play. And a lot of that, I think, was because we developed such a great relationship in the off season because I had her in class. And so I think we were able to develop a different relationship on a different level and really work on our communication with each other a lot more. And so I know it was just so great to see how much she had improved this year. And there's no arguing, like nobody could debate this at all, that our most improved award goes to Sophie Macon. So, hey Soph, hola. Lastly, our Tiger Award, like I explained earlier with the JV, what we want and expect from this award recipient. Again, someone, I don't think she missed a day all summer, maybe early on in June. But really, really led by example. She's definitely a silent leader, but just really very coachable and very reliable, which you need. Like you need that on a team. You need a reliable, calm, steady presence on the court and off the court. And she did such a great job with that role this year. And just a really great job communicating. Again, on time for everything, which huge bonus in my book is just being on time, being reliable, ready to go, helping the younger players, helping break down the court, helping clean up everything, make sure the locker room's good to go. Her creativity off the court and artistic skills off the court are ridiculous. And just really awesome to see. Again, really excited to work with her again this year, but this year's Tiger Award goes to Mackenzie Green. So, hey Kenzie. Otherwise, with all of these girls, really looking forward to getting back into the gym with them. Hopefully we're back in the gym sooner rather than later, but you never know with this, so it's not ideal, but if anything, we have proven that we know how to handle adversity, and we can make changes and we can make adjustments, and hopefully, girls, y'all are doing a great job of doing all those workouts that I'm sending y'all, and hopefully we can get in the gym sooner rather than later, keep a touch on the volleyballs, do some ball control drills. And this goes for all other sports too. Make sure you're just staying active, staying healthy, keeping your mind right. And we can't wait to get y'all back in the gym. So love y'all, miss y'all. See you later, Tiger Nation. Go Tigers.
Hey Tiger Nation, Coach Timmons here with Coach Hughes and Coach Tobias, and we're going to do the awards banquet just a little bit differently this year, as a lot of things are a little bit different this year, and we just thought that the best way to honor our 2019 season and the things that we did was just with a little bit of a conversation, and then we'll get to the awards along the way. We hope everybody's being safe. To our returning players, we want you guys to stay locked in, take care of your families, take care of yourselves, continue to work really hard. I guess the best way to kind of kick things off is talk about a 13-1 season. About midway through the summer, had a little bit of adversity, and one of our best players, Jaquan, goes down. You guys just kind of talk about how that kind of changed the dynamic over the summer.
Well, I think anytime you have a returning player of the year for the Pac-7 conference have a catastrophic injury like that, you definitely have some concerns and some worries going in. We had a big senior class, a very talented senior class, and I think it speaks to their leadership and their work ethic to kind of circle the wagons and step up and next man up, and we had a lot of guys step up behind them and get us through, and kind of built on it as the season progressed.
Well, and defensively, we felt like we were young in some spots, and we had quite a few question marks, and looking back on it, those guys really stepped up, and they really rallied around each other and watched film and got better on the field. And it really showed as the year went on. That's something we really didn't think we'd be. Honestly, I didn't think we'd be as good defensively as we were. And then we'll talk about stats later, but pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive stat
defensive
line. You know, I thought that, you know, sitting in my end zone, I'm sure y'all saw me pacing around like a crazy person. I actually got in trouble the very first game for coaching from the back of the end zone. I told them I had a radio. But, you know, when I knew we were going to be pretty good is I think Ledford came to town. It was a great environment, and that's a pretty good team, perennial power. Coach Adams does a good job there. And you know, you could just feel the hits from the back of the end zone. It was a very physical game, very up and down game. I think defensively we they got one play on us, and there was a special teams play. And I just remember just smashing it. And I know as an offensive line coach, you probably felt pretty good about that. But I knew we had a good chance to do some things after we got that win. I thought that was a big galvanizing moment for us.
And I think it helped us defensively, that win, because everybody knows that's a big game. And they're physical. They're a lot like we are. They work hard in the weight room and practice hard, and they're physical. And anytime you beat them, I feel like we gain a little momentum from that game, defensively especially, because we felt like, hey, we can really play with these guys.
Yeah.
All we heard all summer was how good they're going to be.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
Number 90 was pretty good on the.
Yes,
on
he
the-
was. Ledford's a good measuring stick. Like Coach Hughes says, you know, they're a very similar program to us. They're, you know, kind of gauge where you're at. You know, they're not going to make mistakes. They're going to be lined up correctly. They're not going to do anything to beat themselves. They're going to play physical. They're going to execute. And, you know, it's always going to be a nail biter.
What stood out to you, Hughes? When did you kind of know?
I kind of felt like about halfway through the year, we got about game 4 or 5. Whenever guys started asking questions, we'd go to watch film, and they would start asking questions like football questions, like why is the tight end lined up here, and why is he split out in certain situations? And hey, coach, you notice on 3rd and 10 they like to run the fade or the out, you know, and I felt like then I was like, well, these guys they're actually studying the game and watching film. And when they start studying the game and watching film, then you know that you can really win some games. Because you win a lot of games watching film, especially at the high school level, because a lot of people don't do it. So.
Plenty of time to do that too, guys. So I guess just getting to the offensive side of the ball, I'm going to kind of run through that. And, you know, just looking at our stat line, it's pretty impressive. 5,045 yards for the season. Which is a gigantic number. It's pretty balanced. 1,600 yards through the air, 3,300 yards on the ground. 242 per game. Took care of the football. With our turnover margin, we were plus 9 in turnover margin, and that speaks to our defense as well because they were taking that ball away a little bit too. You know, if we're talking about awards here, I'm going to kind of kick it to you, Coach Tobias. You know, the first award is our lineman award, and who do you think, you know, kind of personifies that?
Well, I had a great group of linemen this year, and they really the core of that group was the 3 seniors. Had Stevie Smith at center, and my tackles were both seniors. Juan Gonzalez on the right side, and Brandon Price on the left. And when you get seniors, you know, especially ones that watch the film and they're students of the game, it's like having assistant coaches on the field. You know, they come off the field, you can ask them, you know, maybe some things you aren't seeing from the sideline, and you know, that was big with this group, and I think it had a lot to do with our offensive success. And
Gave up 8 sacks on the year too, by the way.
Yeah.
Only 8 sacks.
8 sacks.
pretty
Some
good.
people give up 8 sacks a game.
Yeah. 6 more than I'd probably like on a season, but still, I'll
right.
take 8 in 13 games. But you know, just a great group of seniors. But you know, there's always one guy you kind of, you know, if it's 4th and 1 or 3rd and short, and you know, you want to run behind him and you kind of hang your hat on him, and that's Brandon Price. I can't say enough about him. He's a unbelievable young man and an even better football player. And you know, his grades, he was the most consistent all year long. I don't know that he ever got below a 87 or 88 grading all year long, and that was his worst game. A lot of times he was in the mid-90s. Can't recall. He may have gave up one of those sacks, may have not gave up any. I really might have gave up one of the 8, but just a tremendous kid, tremendous football player, and you know, really been a privilege to coach him for the last 3 years.
And 4 year
4-year starter, I believe.
Definitely had some starts his freshman year and saw him develop. That whole offense is pretty strong. All-conference list is Jaquan Snipes. You got Brandon Price, Stephen Smith, Robbie Rich, Juan Gonzalez, who really kind of came out of nowhere to get an all-conference. We have Gentry, and of course, running back Lilly was an all-conference performer. So for the offensive side of the ball, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So very good there with all-conference performers. Coach, how about defensive side of the ball?
Well, defensively, I told you this morning, we were talking this morning, that I didn't realize how good we were on defense until I started really looking at the stats. And then we gave up a little over 11 points a game, which is the second best since 1986. It's a pretty good run. We had how many games? I say we had, Coach. We had 4, 6, 8 games with under 100 yards rushing. So you look, you win 14 games. You're like, we didn't give up 100 yards rushing in eight of those 14 games.
It's pretty easy to be on offense when you're holding your opponent.
Pretty sporty. And we held 5 teams under 100 yards total. One team 6 yards. They had 6 yards total offense. So had some pretty good games as the year went on, and of course that has to do with great players, and everybody makes you a great coach when you're a great player. So of course we had a defensive player of the year in the conference, Dominic Poole. And all you guys have been around him, y'all have coached him, y'all know how he is. Unbelievable competitor. Led the team.
He's trying to talk Coach Haney into playing Grimsley, I think.
He did.
What he wanted to do.
He wanted to play Grimsley. So, unbelievable competitor, though. And I think the thing that people don't know about him is, and y'all know it because y'all been around him, but people don't talk about it enough, is how good a kid he is. Like, he's a good kid. Like, he's fun to be around, and when you see his smile, it's a contagious smile. Like, he's just a fun kid to be around. As long being a great competitor too. So, but anyway, we had 5 more all-conference players, and Alberta Plata, unbelievable player, great kid, great kid to work in the weight room. Dawson Edwards, who we'll talk about later. Everybody always talks about Dawson, and anything good you say about Dawson is correct. And he deserves everything he gets. But Nate Green, kind of an underspoken kid, doesn't really say a lot, believe it or not. Once you get to know him, he's a talker, but around people, he really doesn't talk a lot, but he leads by example. One of the fiercest hitters I've probably coached in a while, and when you see him playing, he starts bobbing his head. For all you fans that saw him bobbing his head, he started bobbing his head. He was getting right then. So fun to be around. And we had Caleb Mitchell at corner, and who did a great job as a young underclassman. He's one of the kids that stepped up, and we felt like we had some spots that were questionable. He's one of them that stepped up, and then Dakota Ward. I don't know what to say about Dakota Ward.
He's a wild man.
You think about Dakota. Y'all been around him. If you told me Dakota was going to be an all-conference player as a senior and play 14 or 15 games, I probably would have called you crazy.
Well, we recruited him forever. I think he started as a lineman, didn't he? Offensive lineman. So it was just one of those things that finally came together, and that's why we're in it. We want to see guys that persevere and finish. And
I can't say enough either about the other guys. Christian James, he stepped up whenever he really didn't know his role. We thought he was going to be a linebacker. We thought he might play outside linebacker. Then he goes to D-line and has a stellar year at D-line. Somebody like him that kind of steps up and plays. And then you got, Moffitt came in, does a great job.
Kobe Kenny.
Kobe Kenny, he didn't play a lot as a sophomore, stepped up as a junior, got a lot of playing time. Really helped us in a lot of different areas. So,
You hate getting too detailed because there were just so many guys on that defense that were flying around.
But even like, Tyson Cott, he does a lot of different things this year. He plays corner, we move on the slot, we do a bunch of different things with him. And having said all that, you talk about the awards, you kind of feel like that all these guys got all conference, but the other guys around them, without those guys, you're not gonna get those awards.
So the defensive player of the year, Dominic Poole.
Defensive player of the year is Dominic Poole. He deserves it. He worked hard all 4 years, and he was our leader on defense, and we called him Benny Blades because he loves to hit you. The biggest problem I had with him is he wanted to play linebacker, but he wanted to play free safety so
He was back to back, wasn't he?
Back to back,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was back to back defensive player of the year.
yeah, he liked to come down.
Testament
the
to
hill,
his mentality.
And Dom, you're gonna be on the wall because we're expecting a picture from the Citadel. So that's I remember Coach Ruth telling me a story. He goes, "Am I going to be on that wall one day with all those guys?" And you see, guys through the years like Mr. Hamilton and Mr. Handy and all the lineage there. But yeah, he's definitely part of that. So
yeah, we're gonna be at this down there to check on you, Dom. So
Yeah.
we make sure we're gonna get our picture, buddy.
That's right. Kind of moving forward, we got the lineman, the defensive. I guess moving to the major awards, and you just think about a guy that's so well-rounded, does so many things on the field, does so many things off the field. You wish you could give it to 2 or 3 different guys, but the guy we think that kind of personifies, an MVP. If we didn't have this guy, there's probably maybe 3 or 4 games that we don't. There's huge plays that are made, and that's Dawson Edwards. He's going to Barton. He's going to play under Chip Hester, who's my former coach, and I just think about some of the big impact moments. Catching the long pass right before halftime. Is it Ashboro? The Ashboro game, he runs away. You see this guy and you're like, oh, he's pretty quick. And on film, he's leaving people. And
then defensively though, I could give you 10 examples of him one-on-one on the edge. The guy, if he misses a tackle, he's probably going to go score, and he makes tackle after tackle. Like I don't remember him having one missed tackle on defense.
Yeah.
I mean, he just
Tremendous athlete, and not only a tremendous athlete, his IQ in general, but his football IQ just makes a coaching job easy. I mean, there were several times we put him at a completely new position, and when we worry about a little bit getting too complex. I mean, we always talk about not wanting to make the guys think on the field, and he's a guy you can kind of see something middle of the week Wednesday and kind of see something and say, man, that might have a chance, and Dawson's the guy you can stick in there and say, hey. We need, whereas another player might take, 150 reps to get it, and Dawson takes 2 or 3, and he's got it. Kind of kid and make you look like a genius sometimes.
And never complained about special teams either. I mean, he's going to go do whatever.
Didn't he do that? I mean, didn't he put him in at run back South Granville week or something, and he just steps back there and he's taking the ball like he's been taking it all year?
He's running the ball. Yeah. He's trapping. He's a kick-out guy.
Just go do it. Yeah, we couldn't be prouder of him. I think he personifies it, and we're actually going to make up an award. We decided, just a school award, and we want to talk about it during football because this guy was so special to us.
And we're going to present it on Senior Day, but obviously that's changed a little bit. So
we want to talk about this too. And this guy's Jaquan Snipes. He, in 7 games, 650 yards rushing, 9 yards a carry, had 12 touchdowns. That's good production for a season. And he's doing it in 7 games, coming back from, pins and rods and all kinds of stuff in his bicep, and came back like a warrior. And that personifies what Tiger Nation's about. That personifies what we're about as a staff, I feel like. And, not only did he come back for us, he came back from a second injury, re-injures the same thing, and then gets back on the basketball court and really doesn't miss a beat. I remember asking him, are you going to be tired? And he said, I don't get tired, Coach. And so I mean, he just had that competitor's mentality. And I know Coach Collinson was looking forward to track season. He was training. He's getting all, so he's a 3-sport athlete. He's a very high academic kid. Pleasure to be around. I love him and his letter jacket walking through our doors every day. So the guy that, and I'm going to let Coach talk about this guy a little bit. The guy that we're naming after, the award after, is Coach Ferguson.
Yep.
And I'm just going to let you kind of speak about, what he was about.
Well, Greg, we're going to create an award, and felt like we're going to carry it for the future. Greg Ferguson, he coached me in the early '80s. He's a good, godly Christian man. Has a good father, good husband. Did a lot of things for Randleman, and still, I think he left here in '85 or '86, and he still to this day helps us. He comes and films for us on Friday. All around good man, great leader. by example most of the time, and that's kind of why we felt like it'd be great to name an award after him. And you guys have been around him some. You guys know how good a man he is.
Yeah, if you're looking at our values of faith, family, football, and future, I mean, I can't imagine us giving out an award about Coach Ferguson and him not exemplifying those things. I mean, I just think it hits the nail on the head. So, Jaquan, you know, to get that inaugural award, it's a pretty big deal. I know, especially you and
really
former
big.
players,
Yeah.
and for me and this will be my 14th year coming up at the school. You know, and Coach Ferguson's been a staple of that the whole time. So.
Man, anytime you can be mentioned in a name with Coach Ferguson, it's pretty big deal. Pretty big deal, in my opinion, and people my age for sure.
All right, guys. Well, that concludes our section of the awards banquet for 2019 and 20. We enjoyed talking about you guys and going down memory lane. Please stay safe. Continue to get better. For our graduating seniors, we're very proud of you. You know, make sure that you're finishing strong, and for you guys coming back, make sure that you're staying engaged. Just one more time, I want to go through the awards real quick because I know it was kind of a little bit different, and we want to just make sure that we give a shout out to the following guys. The Ferguson Award goes to Jaquan Snipes. Our defensive MVP, Dominic Poole. Our Lineman Award goes to Brandon Price. Our most valuable player goes to Dawson Edwards. We had several off-conference performers, Jaquan Snipes, Brandon Price, Stephen Smith, Robbie Rich, Juan Gonzalez, Chris Gentry, I always want to call him Clayton, and Naheem Lilly. On the defensive side of the ball, we had Alberto Plata, Dawson Edwards, Nate Green, Caleb Mitchell, Dakota Ward, rounds out our all-conference guys.
Cool.
And
Player of the year.
And Player of the Year, Dominic Poole. Guys, thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in 2020.
Hey everybody, this is Coach Bowman here with Coach Holyfield. Just want to take a moment to recognize folks who were on the cross-country team this past fall. Before I do that, just want to say some quick thank yous. Certainly want to thank Coach Holyfield here. Been coaching with me for a long time. Definitely appreciate everything he's done. Great assistant coach. Wouldn't have anybody else. Also want to thank all the parents who came out, supported, volunteered to bring refreshments, Gatorades, stuff like that for the kids after the meets. Want to thank the administration, Mr. Hamilton, Coach Tobias, athletic director, for all their support as well. Just want to now just announce who was on the team. I'll start with the women's team first. So Caroline Allred, Kalila Coleman, Haley Haynes, Sydney Henninger, Alicia Johnson, Katie Kocher, Zoe McIver, Alexis Robbins, and Amy Uribe. On the men's side, the men's team, we had Logan Bolin, Will Flores, Benji Garcia, Kevin Gomez, Alex Manus, Corey Smith, Cooper Scott, and Cooper Swan. Just real quick, a little bit about the season. Had a lot of new folks who had run this year, never run cross country before, so they definitely learned a lot about themselves. And that's one of the things that we really strive for on the cross country team is, you know, certainly want to try to do well in meets, try to win meets, and be successful on that side of things. But one of the things we also kind of push for them to do is learn a lot from themselves, try to see what they're kind of made of, so to speak. And that's something that, you know, you can really kind of do that. You really test yourself in these races. Season kind of started off a little slow. I think kind of weather plays a little bit of part in that. Seemed like it was hot forever, but finally went to a big invitational at Hagenstone Park up in Pleasant Garden early October. And, you know, don't see this very often, but almost everybody who raced that day ran a new PR, a personal record, and it was really excited to see that, and really kind of set a new tone for the team, and they were really a little more motivated after that point. Not to say that they weren't motivated before, but got other distractions going on with the weather, and that cooler weather really seemed to help a lot. Do want to mention we had 3 qualifiers for the state meet this year, and all 3 of these runners were first-time qualifiers. Had never qualified for the state meet before. 2 of them were seniors, and 1 was actually a freshman. The 2 seniors, we had one guy, Benji Garcia, who's run really well all season, ran number 1 for us all season. He qualified for the state meet. And then on the girls' side, Katie Kocher, who was also a senior, and also ran number 1 for the team all year long. And the freshman we had to qualify was Haley Haynes. So just want to congratulate all 3 of them for qualifying for the state meet, and had a great season. For the awards, we give out Coaches Award, and that's always kind of a hard one to give because you're just trying to figure out what makes a certain runner on the team stand out a little more than the others, and they all have great qualities, and they're all deserving of this award. And I know that sounds cliche, but they really are. They all contribute in their own ways. But this year's Coaches Award for the women goes to Caroline Allred. Caroline is a second-year runner on the cross-country team, and works really hard, comes in every day. Not the fastest on the team, but definitely is a major contributor. On the men's side, the Coaches Award goes to Cooper Swan, also a second-year runner on the team. Real quiet guy, never has a lot to say, just shows up and is ready to work, get the job done, and then he's good to go. So both of them, looking forward to seeing what they do next season on the cross-country team. For the MVPs, these are easier because they obviously, who was the number 1 runner on the team. It's just kind of a numbers game there. And for the women, our number 1 runner all season long, great team leader. She's a senior, gonna miss her, and that goes to Katie Kocher. And then on the men's side, also a senior, number 1 runner on the team, qualified for the state meet like Katie, and that goes to Benji Garcia. Both of them are seniors, and real quick, just want to recognize the other seniors on the team. Corey Smith and Will Flores were 2 of our other seniors, and going to miss having those guys. And on the women's side, besides Katie Kocher, Alicia Johnson was the other senior. So they're going to be moving on to other things, and we wish them luck in the future. So again, just a great season. I want to thank everybody that had a major part in that. Obviously the team and the parents as well, as I already mentioned. And that's it. So thanks, and we look forward to next season.
Hello, Tiger Nation. I'm Coach Fitzgibbon, the men's soccer coach, and I'd like to recognize our men's varsity soccer team from the fall. I'd like to begin by thanking the numerous individuals that helped make our season possible. Literally, without these people to help us out, our high school would not have a soccer program. First to the numerous restaurants in Randleman that host our team on away games: Wendy's, Bojangles, both Subways, Sir Pizza, Main Street Steakhouse, and most of our post games at Sheets. To our parents who support our players and programs through all kinds of weather, road trips, and crazy schedule changes. To the athletic directors, Coach Tobias, Coach Hughes, and Coach Handy for taking care of all the field maintenance, for the scheduling, the rescheduling, the rescheduling, booking referees, doing all those things that allow me to focus just on coaching and improving our program. To our indispensable booster club, who provide us with everything that our program needs, uniforms and equipment. It's the best booster club in North Carolina, hands down. And again, we would not have a soccer program without their support. to the high school administration, counselors, and teachers that help me keep tabs on the students throughout the season, that allow me to keep track of their grades, their behavior, and thank you for holding them to very high standards in your classrooms. To Dan Nelson and Steve Trivett for always being there to run the scoreboard and do the player introductions. That is an indispensable resource, and we couldn't really do this without you guys. And finally, to my fellow coach, Brian Vaughn, and his family, for always being my wingman for the past 15 years, helping build this program to the success that it is. I'd like now to recognize the players from our team. I'd like to start with the freshmen, Andrew Leonard and Jaime Lopez, the sophomores, Josiah Trout, Damian Pacheco, Nick Muro, Manuel Ramirez, and Isaac Ferguson. To our juniors, Luis Garcia, Brian Jaimez, Victor Tellez, Yahir Lopez, Parker Trivett, and Logan Swaim. And to our seniors, Will Anderson, Benji Garcia, Mike Morales, Stuart Perez, Brandon Vasquez, Francisco Ayala, and Jairo Chavez. You guys have been a phenomenal team this year, and really going to miss that group of seniors as they head on to whatever's next in their evolution of college or job or working in the workforce, whatever it may be. My hope every season is that our teams will buy into a growth mindset and focus on improving with each practice and each game. We preach improvement, competition, development. Sometimes that's a hard mindset to have when you're a young adult, and some of your other coaching experiences may have been focused on other things other than improvement and development. This mindset that we ask our players to have requires them to put aside their worries of winning and losing and focus on getting better each and every time they step out on the field, whether it be practice or a game. It also requires them to be really, really, really supportive of each other and not to be too hard on themselves. I think our team this season could have easily taken a turn down that negative road, but with some great leadership from our captains, all 6 of them, we were able to play some good soccer and end up going toe-to-toe with many of our opponents, sometimes losing in penalty kicks, losing by 1 goal, and I think our best performance of this season came in our last game of the season against Eastern Guilford. This game, in my opinion, encapsulated what our program is all about and how how successful we were when we played as a team. We ended up winning 8-3, but I think that was indicative of our style of play. All 8 of our seniors scored 1 goal, and 6 out of our 8 seniors had an assist in that game. Our message to our players, especially our seniors, has always been to play each game, each minute as if it was your last game, your last time on the field. This message is especially poignant for the seniors of our spring sports. We always ask our seniors to have the mindset of leaving the team better than they found it. This idea of leaving the team better than you found it, this is your legacy. This legacy is what I feel our seniors leave behind more than trophies in the case and accolades and awards. It's the impact that you have on your team and your younger teammates. Something that builds a part of our program with every individual, to play the game as if it was your last. I thank the seniors this year for their hard work and your dedication to Tiger Nation. I would like to announce our team awards for the boys varsity soccer. Earning all conference recognition this year was Will Anderson. Earning all region recognition this year, honorable mention recognition goes to Victor Tellez. Our second team all region members were Stuart Perez, Brian Jaimez, and Luis Garcia. And our single player that earned first team all region recognition, which is one of the best 11 players in our region, which includes 3 different conferences from around this area. That award goes to Will Anderson. My coach's award this year goes to a young man who stepped up for his team in the biggest possible way this season, playing multiple positions, pretty much anywhere where we asked him to play, without a doubt being our most flexible player, and did so without complaint or criticism, and really kind of grew into his own kind of player this season. That coach's award this year goes to Brian Jaimez. Our last award is our captain's award. This award is given to someone who shows outstanding growth and leadership skills, someone who acts in the best interest of our team and truly practices the belief of team before self. And that award this year goes to Brandon Vasquez. I'd like to thank, again, everyone that helped make our season possible, and look forward to what the future holds for Tiger Nation. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Michelle Cable, and I coach the women's tennis team this year. Starting off with the women's tennis team, we have playing number 1, Anna Garner. Playing number 2 was Madeline Akes. Changing between 3 and 4 was May Zing and Catherine Davis. Playing number 5 singles was Kaylee Ballard, and rounding out the top 6 was Emily Roach. We also had Juliana Barnes and Ashley Davidson, who rounded out the women's tennis team. Some of our accomplishments this year was, number 1, we learned how to change a tire, and number 2, we learned how to jump off a car, and number 3, we learned how to call the fire department if we lock our keys in our car. That being said, our tennis accomplishments were, we had 2 players make the all-conference team, and that is Anna Gardner and Madeline Akes. We also had 2 players that were able to go into the regionals. So in order to do that, they had to be in the top 4 of the conference tournament, which they did. They rounded out the top 3 and 4, and that would be Anna Gardner and Madeline Akes again. So congratulations, ladies, to making it to regionals. And then we have 2 more awards, and the first one's going to be my MVP award, my MVP. This lady played number 1 every single match. That's very difficult because you're playing the best people at every single match. So your number 1 player is going to have to be someone who has just determination. They don't give up. They know going in that they're playing the best person on the other team. And Anna Garner did it with grace and dignity and just great sportsmanship. And she was just such a pleasure to watch, and she never gave up. She gave it her all, and it was more than I could have asked for. She was also a great captain that the girls looked up to. She was always at practice, always accountable, and would always lead practice when it takes a teacher a little bit longer to get to Creekside than it does a student. So she was always willing and able to get the girls warmed up so that when I got there, we could go ahead and start practice. So Anna Garner, thank you for that. Rounding out our coaches awards, we have the next award, which is going to be the coaches award, and that is going to go to Emily Roach. Emily, this was her first year playing. I think she's a 3-sport athlete, or she has been a 3-sport athlete, but she just wanted a change of pace, so she came out to the tennis team. She's probably one of my favorite softball players. They're so fun to coach in tennis because they kind of have what they need. They have the footwork, they have the hand-eye coordination, and she just blew it out of the water. She came in, she just practiced every day. She practiced on the weekends. Even after our season was over, when we started the boys tennis season, any day that she was off of softball, she was coming out to practice with us. She's going to get better. And so for that reason, my coach's award goes to Emily Roach. Thank you.
Good evening, Tiger Nation. I'm Coach Farr, the head women's basketball coach at Randleman High School. In just a few moments, we're going to begin this year's celebration for this year's women's basketball team with the end of the year awards banquet. But before we get started, there's a few people I would like to thank. Mr. Hamilton, Coach Timmons, and Ms. Stevenson for all their support during the season. Coach Tobias for providing our program with everything we need to be successful. Coach Mitchell and Coach Ruth for working with us on practice time and game day setup. The RHS Booster Club for all they do for athletics. parents and players for all their commitment throughout the spring, summer, and fall, and during the basketball season. My assistant coaches, Coach Cassidy and Coach Pegram, for all their time, hard work, and dedication to this team and these players. They do an excellent job from practice to game preparation. They build great relationships with our players. They coach them and push them to be the best they can be. We'd also like to thank our manager, Anna Nenny, for being the best manager in the business. She does a great job at practice and in the games, helping us out with stats. So thank you, Anna. For our roster for this season, we have Jordan Booker, Kendall Zachary, Taylor Gant, Lindsay Nenny, Elizabeth York, Gabby Carter, Madeline Stockwell, Emma Marlowe, Mackenzie Roach, Harley Davis, Hannah Henshaw, Veronica Marlowe, and Grayson Hall. To recap the season in a short summary is going to be difficult, but I will do the best I can to hit all the highlights. This was an incredible season for our team and program. To start, we had certain goals we wanted to achieve as a team. We wanted to be undefeated in non-conference play. We wanted to play for a Christmas tournament championship. We wanted to win the Pac-7 regular season and conference championship and play past the second round of the playoffs. Even though we didn't achieve all these goals, those bumps in the road made us the team we needed to be come state playoff time. We finished with the second best record in women's basketball history at RHS at 24-3, with 3 of those losses coming to teams that ranked around the top 10 in the state in their classification. We went undefeated in Pac-7 play in the regular season at 12-0. We had a winning streak of 13 straight games. We ranked as high as number 5 in the Max Preps rankings. We made it to the final 8 in the state playoffs. We finished the season ranked number 7 in the Max Preps rankings. And we finished out number 20 in the high school OT class rankings for the West region and all classifications. This team had 5 games of scoring over 60 points. We averaged 53 points per game, had 9 games of holding team to under 30 points, and as a team we took 34 charges. This team will go down as one of the best in Randleman High School history, and it's all because of their hard work, commitment, team before self attitude, and desire that they could be the best that they could be. For our awards, the Unsung Hero Award. This award goes to an individual who was a starter as a junior and this year came off the bench as our 6th man, but we could easily put her back in the starting lineup at any time. She may not have filled up the stat sheet on the scoring column, but she excelled in the little things. Every team needs role players and glue players that can keep everything in order. She was unselfish, a great teammate, willing to dive on the floor after the loose ball, battle for a rebound, rotating over and trying to take a charge. Her willingness to help the team any way possible was something that really stood out this year. And this award goes to Emma Marlowe. For our Coaches Award, this award goes to an individual that was coming off an all-conference and all-county season, only to improve her overall stats this year as a sophomore. In my opinion, she had another all-conference season. She averaged 7.2 points per game, 6.1 rebounds. She had 7 games of scoring double figures, 4 games in the double-double category, multiple games where she led us in rebounding, was second on the team in charges taken with 8, and shot 68% from the free throw line. She has worked very hard to improve. She puts her team first, a whatever it takes to win attitude, and she was extremely valuable to our team's success. And this award goes to Hannah Henshaw. Our impact player. This individual stepped on the campus as a freshman and made an immediate impact on the floor. We missed her all summer due to injury, but come November she was ready to go. She was second on the team in scoring at 12 points per game. Led us in three-pointers made with 43. Shot 70% from the free throw line. She had 19 games of scoring in double figures, 3 games of over 20 points. Was third on the team in charges taken with 7. Her immediate impact at the guard position, whether it was handling the ball, passing, or scoring, was vital to our team's success. She was voted Pac-7 All-Conference for this season. This award goes to Elizabeth York. For our most outstanding player, this award goes to an individual who not only had an outstanding season, but grew into one of our leaders both on and off the court. She helped lead us in almost every stat category. She was our leading scorer, rebounder, and had the best field goal percentage in each category. She shot 50% from the field from 2, 40% from 3, and 76% from the free throw line. She was a great teammate, leader, played hard, had a great attitude, and a great desire to win. She averaged 15.2 points per game, 7.4 rebounds per game, made 34 three-pointers, had 26 games of scoring in double figures, 4 20-point games, 9 double-doubles on the season, and she was Courier Tribune Christmas Tournament All-Tournament Team, Pac-7 All-Conference, and named 3rd Team All-District by the North Carolina Basketball Coaches Association. This award goes to Grayson Hall. This last award was our MVP award. Taylor Gann has been a 4-year starter for Randleman High School women's basketball team. Taylor is hardworking, coachable, great with teammates, extremely competitive, and the heart and soul of our team. This year, she led our team to back-to-back conference championships, the second best season in school history, which will probably be the highlight of her career over any individual award. She averaged 11 points per game, 4.5 assists, made 26 threes, and shot 72% from the line. This year, she relinquished some of the score load to her teammates, but picked up her assist totals where she tallied 122 assists on the season. Taylor also made a mark on the defensive end by often drawing the toughest man-to-man assignment and would take away the other team's #1 scoring threat. She led us in steals and charges taken with 16. She's been a 3-time All-County selection, 4-time All-Conference selection, 4-time Christmas Tournament All-Tournament Team, 2-time North Carolina Basketball Coaches Association selection. She was Pac-7 Conference Player of the Year in 2020. She was also 2019 Randolph County Player of the Year. She was recognized this season for scoring over 1,000 career points, which she finished with 1,289. She will leave Randleman High School as one of the most decorated women's basketball players in school history. Taylor will be continuing her academic and athletic career at the University of Lynchburg, where she plans to major in criminal justice or sports management. In closure, I would like to thank my 3 seniors for their hard work and dedication over the past 2 years. You have led this program in a really good place. It's now up to our returning players to continue this success. As soon as we can get back in the gym, we will get to work. Everyone make sure you're staying safe during this difficult time, and hopefully we can get back to normal soon.
Hey, good afternoon, Tiger Nation. This is Coach Mitchell. Just wanted to give a little quick video award ceremony for the men's basketball team this year. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you're staying safe, having a little bit of fun with some family time, and hopefully we'll get back at it very soon. As always, I just want to start out with a couple thank yous real quick. Always want to give a very special thanks to my wife, Carrie Mitchell. Basketball season's a long season, and a lot of nights alone at home with 2 little 3-year-old boys can be tough. And so the things she does are very difficult there, and always big thanks for her, for letting me coach and spend those nights alone sometimes. I also want to thank Coach Varner. Other than having led the resurgence in the girls basketball program, he's also very easy to work with. He often takes what I would call the less desirable practice times. It allows me and the boys teams to amend the schedule to fit my needs, and that makes him great to work with. So big thank you to Coach Varner there. Also want to thank Randleman High School. You wouldn't find a more supportive school as far as the administration and the community and the other teachers here who allow us to do the things we need to do to be successful on the court and off the court, and really make this a great school to be a head coach at. And finally, I'd like to thank my coaching staff, Coach Ruth, Coach McNair, and Coach Nairn, especially Coach Ruth. A lot of people don't know this, but he basically takes on the role of a head coach for the JV team as well as the lead assistant, and there's not many people who do that much work. So his skills and his help is very crucial to the success of this program every year. So we'll get into the awards next.
Oh, hey there. As a head coach for 11 years at high school basketball now, I sweep a lot of floors, and when I do, there's one dust mop that I choose above the rest. Dusty Dan's Dust Mops. Get it dusted.
So I just want to get in to just a few season highlights for those of you that aren't aware. Overall, the team this year went 19-5. It's a very strong record. They were 11-1 in the Pac-7 conference. We won 19 games by an average of 16 points per game, and our 5 losses were by a total of 13 points. That's an average loss margin of 2.6 points a game. So, what that tells you is we almost never lost in a blowout. In fact, our last game on this court in the playoffs, was an overtime loss where we had our shots to win and ended up losing by just a couple of points that night too. So, very proud of the team because they never got beaten. They always fought to the very last second. Always made the games very interesting, very fun to coach and to be a part of it. I'm sure anybody who came and watched us really experienced that. We were also the 2019-2020 Courier Tribune Christmas champs. That's a big deal in this county. Winning the championship. This is our third championship here at Randleman. So we retained the belt and got the trophy this year. It's always a big deal. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we advanced to the second round of the NCHSA state playoffs. But of all those things, the thing that I'm most proud of with this team is obviously the conference championship. It's a team that really came together as sophomores. A lot of them started playing varsity as sophomores, and we competed that year and just fell a little short. Then last year we finished second in the conference when they were juniors, fell a little short, but we got a little closer. And then this year that team really worked together to make their goal and win that conference championship. And so that's something I'm the most proud of with the team who really built into the conference championship instead of just having things kind of click. We got together and fought the right way. So I just want to take a second to make a little addition to our banner here. We'll get the real one hung up soon when all this stuff is over with, but for right now, we'll add the 2020 up there on the conference championship banner. Great job. Hey, Coach Mitchell there for Sport Right Sports Boards. Get it right with Sport Right. All right, last thing I want to do here is get into a couple of individual awards. The first one we'll talk about is a junior on the team. He came off the bench a lot for us last year, really grew over the spring and the summer, and then really became a big-time starter for us this year. He averaged about 11 points a game and just over 5 rebounds, and was a big factor in our offense and on the defensive end, oftentimes guarding the other team's taller players. He was one of our tallest players, although we weren't a very big team. So he had to take on kind of an added responsibility, playing almost like a center on defense for a guy who's really built more like a shooting guard. And so that guy, his first all-conference selection is Caleb Mitchell. So congratulations there, Caleb. The next player I want to talk about, I've been a coach at Randleman, a head coach for 8 years. I've been at the school for 11 years now. And in that time, we've only had one other player of the year. So that shows you a little bit about how tough this award can be to win. And this kid won that award for the conference. He was a Pac-7 player of the year this year. He did that on the back of 15 points a game, 6 rebounds per game, and about 2 steals per game. And he did it in only his junior year, which maybe has never been done at this school before. I don't know the history for sure, but it definitely hasn't been done in my time. The thing that's really remarkable about those numbers is that he was the primary focus of most teams. They would play special defenses and put their best defenders on him most nights, and he was still able to do that. He's often seen as more of a shooter, but in fact, he's much more than that. He finds other ways to score. He hits the boards hard. He's our leading rebounder on the team, or at least tied for leading rebounds. Rebounds like a post player, has a nose for the ball like a post player, despite the fact that he's not really that big of a kid. So he also defends at a high level. He's definitely some guys who are big time scorers take plays off at the other end of the court, and you never got that out of this kid. So congratulations to Nate Cassidy, Pac-7 All Conference, District 8 Second Team District Player of the Year, and then finally Pac-7 Player of the Year. Congratulations, Nate. We got 2 more awards to talk about real quick. The first one is what's known as our KTS Award. For those of you that don't know, every year we give out an award called the KTS Award. And essentially that goes to the guy who put the team before himself more than anyone else. This year's KTS Award was simple because going all the way back to last spring and summer, we had one guy who was the most committed to this team. We had some guys who wavered a little bit in the spring and summer, who didn't always show up at workouts and who weren't always 100% in on the team, and this guy never let that faze him. He was dedicated, he became a leader, he stepped up from a kind of marginal role into more of a starring role at times, and even on the court when the season finally rolled around, he did everything that you would want a KTS player to do. He always guarded the other team's best perimeter player. He always made little plays. He would step up and hit big shots when the time came. He was a smart player. He was a coach's player. He would talk to the coaches and communicate well with his teammates. And like most of our KTS guys, the amount that he grew throughout his time here at Randleman is remarkable, both on the court and off the court as a young man. And so our KTS award this year, which we don't have the awards actually printed out yet, but we'll get them out to you as soon as possible. Our KTS award winner is Nate Green. So congratulations to that, Nate. And then finally, I'm gonna talk about one last player. He was all conference selection this year. He was also voted third team all district by other basketball coaches. So that's 2 big awards there. And then he's also the recipient of what we call our Tiger Award. Our Tiger Award is not necessarily an MVP award, but it goes to a player who most exemplifies what it is to be a Randleman Tiger. And that guy, like I said, is an all-conference player. You know, his stats were about 12 points per game, 2.5 assists, 6 rebounds, and nearly 3 steals a game. But again, like a lot of our players, the stats don't do it justice. Right? It's his impact on the team from a physical and mental standpoint. It's his role as the heart and soul of the team. You know, the guys followed this player more than they followed anybody else. And in fact, if you had talked to me 2 years ago during his sophomore year, I would have told you this guy is one of the toughest players I've ever had to coach. He gave me headaches. He kept me up at night. He could be stubborn and very personable in his own ways. And we had some moments that were not always easy. But through his sophomore and junior year, that's the greatest thing about this young man, is how he grew. Not necessarily as a player, although he got better, but it's how he grew as a person. That's the main thing that made coaching him so special, and that's the reason why I won't forget coaching him anytime soon. So our Tiger Award winner, our all-conference and District 3 team representative is Dominic Poole. So congratulations, Dominic. Thank you again for watching this video. I hate that we couldn't do it in better circumstances and in front of the crowd and get everybody here and hang out the way that the town of Randleman loves to hang out. But it's a great season anyways, and I'm sure we'll get back on the fields and in the court as soon as possible. So thank you, Randleman. Thank you, Tiger Nation.
Laundry in, let's go! Part of the responsibilities of being an assistant coach here at Randleman High School is to make sure all our clothes are always super clean. Dirt, grime, no matter what, it's gone. Thanks to Arm & Hammer, OxyClean, it keeps it clean. Hey Tiger Nation, this is Coach Ruth. Just coming to give the awards out for the men's JV basketball team this year. Just to first go over a couple of thank yous, keep it brief. Thanks to Coach Mitchell for all he does, kind of helping with the JV program. It's a lot for a varsity coach to not only game plan and to make sure that his players are kept in line, but he's at every single JV game. He drives us there, mainly because I don't have my bus license. But he drives us there for every away game, sits behind the bench, and does a lot to help. And then I also like to thank the assistants on the JV team this year, which were Tevin McNair and Sid Nairn, been with me for the last 2 years. Not only are they really good friends, but they're also coaches that really kind of help keep me in check, especially when I get angry. And Coach McNair is also the one who I have to sometimes throw back onto the bench when he gets real excited on big plays. But I really do appreciate their help. It's a lot of time that they spend helping. So
don't throw the ball at a ref.
Also, to not throw the ball at a ref. I've never been kicked out of a game though, so I don't know where Coach Mitchell's coming from on that one. Anyways, a little backstory into this team this year. We were a really young team. I only had 2 returning JV players from the previous year's team. A lot of freshmen, some of which who had never had a lot of game experience. So that was a factor. The other factor that I always kind of bring up nowadays, which is a good thing, is the lack of time that I kind of get to spend with them prior to the season starting. Basketball tryouts are usually occurring during the time of the football playoffs, and with the football team's success, we have not only extended into the season, we've had to move several games because of it. So most of the time I get about a full day or two practice before we kind of hit the ground and start games. Sometimes it works out in our favor, and then other times like this season we kind of start out trying to find exactly what our identity is going to be. So with a young team, some people being asked to do a lot more this year than what they had done the previous year. It took us a while to get going, but once we did, we found our stride. I thought this was one of the more entertaining teams to watch. It was also one of the funner years that I've had, just because of the way we had to adjust to this team to make this team become successful. Just kind of going over our record real quick. We were 13-8 on the season. But that really doesn't show the growth of the team as much as the conference record, which was 8-4. We had lost 3 games the first time through playing conference. The second time through, we had lost 1 game, and that was on a buzzer beater here at home to Andrews. And we really should have won that game. There was just a couple mistakes late that we had kind of made, and they kind of threw up a prayer that found its way in to defeat us. But I was just really proud of how this team came together. Middle of the season, right after the Christmas tournament, we had 2 games in which it was quite an embarrassment. We had lost by 30 to Andrews, and then turned around and lost by 40 to Lefford. Usually coach doesn't want to sit up here and talk about how he had lost 2 games back-to-back by almost a combined 70 points. But after that night, I remember being in the locker room, and it wasn't so much yelling, it wasn't so much telling them they all sucked. It was basically saying, what are we going to do next? Who are you going to be as a basketball player moving forward? And I felt like that was something that we had kind of fought with through JV football into JV basketball, was losing this identity of like when things get tough to just quit, instead to become a person that fights back in the face of adversity. And I thought that was something that team really kind of took a hold of. That practice, that Monday after Lefford, the team kind of turned a corner. They started buying in. They never believed they were really out of a game after that. And we won several close games after that because of that mentality that they started to build. But it was a good season. I think a lot of pieces that are going to be important to the success of the Tigers moving forward as a basketball program. So I'm excited about that. And now we're going to get into the awards. First off, there was a lot of guys worthy of awards, but I just picked 2 out that I thought really kind of symbolized what our season was and what our team kind of identified behind. The first one, we always give out a KTS award. KTS is just a person that really identifies putting team over self, and is going to go out there and do the little things to make sure we're successful. I don't think there's a person that's more deserving, maybe in the whole program, moving up and down to identify with what KTS stands for than Aiden Daniels. Aiden last year was on the team. He had a couple games where he had more minutes, and then there were some games where he didn't get to play at all. But he stayed committed. Even in the spring last year, I thought he might be moving for a time period, but we were glad to have him back. And he really came in this year and took on the role of being a defensive stopper. He was a person that played more positions than anyone else on the team. I could literally count on him to bring the ball up the court or to even guard the other team's post players. In crucial games where there was a player for the other team that was really kind of getting going, making a lot of shots, Aiden is the one that went on to him. There was Providence Grove, who we had lost to the 2 previous times early in the year. One of their players had been very efficient for them, and Aiden kind of took on that responsibility and did a great job of guarding it. Was after every loose ball. He wasn't afraid of the big 3, even though sometimes they were 3 or 4 steps behind the line. He really gained confidence in it, and if you know anything about me, I am one that encourages to shoot the ball, so I never yelled at him. If it didn't go in, I told him we could have a better one, but he was a guy who I just thought really grew this year, and I think with his growth and him becoming into that role, he'll be very successful on the varsity team next year, continuing to build upon the role that he had built. And then the last award is going to be the Tiger Award. This goes to a guy who I don't know if I've ever seen not with a smile on his face. Even when he gets upset, he kind of talks to himself and then kind of rambles sometimes, but then he'll start smiling. One of the best guys to be around, not only for myself, but Coach Mitchell. He always takes our jokes well, so that's also appreciated. But he's a guy that also gets pushed probably harder than anyone else. I was tough on him a lot this year because I saw a lot of potential that he had. He was our leading scorer throughout the course of the year. He was also probably our best rebounder. He was active, sometimes too active because he could never stop fouling, which is something he's got to get a lot better at as we move forward. But I never questioned his heart or commitment on the court. That dude gave 110% every game, every minute, every moment that he could. And when he got into foul trouble or he wasn't able to be on the court, you could tell I had an impact on him personally. That he felt like it wasn't so much selfish reasons, but that he was letting the team down. And that upset him that he was not out there contributing in the fashion that he could. Lucas Knighting is the Tiger Award winner. So congratulations, Lucas. Congratulations, Aiden. And thank you for all those that showed up early to support us throughout the course of the year. Look forward to seeing y'all again next year.
How's it going, everybody? Coach Molina here to talk to you about the 2019-2020 Randleman wrestling team. I want to start off by having a few thanks. I want to thank my wrestling parents, first and foremost, getting these guys to practice every day, picking them up from practice, and especially a lot of you guys don't realize, but we wrestle every Saturday, and those parents are able to get their kids here at early morning Saturday to go on the road and compete. I also want to thank the Randleman administration as well as Coach Tobias helping us get everything together, organized schedules and everything like that. And then obviously just Randleman athletics as a whole. Especially it's a great deal to be a part because they get to do cool things like this with you guys. Especially with all this Corona stuff going on. Now we got a virtual banquet. So it's always a cool thing to be a part. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in, introduce the team. This year's Randleman Wrestling team, we started off with a couple freshmen, Andrew Leonard and Caleb Pierce. And then at sophomores, we had John Gill Martin, Logan Richardson, and Dakota Call. And then we had two juniors, Luis Garcia and then Parker Trivet. And then we had two seniors, Will Flores and Robert Russell. So that was our 9 guys, came to practice every day and worked their tails off for me. One thing I want to say about this wrestling team, and I say it every year because every year I get the same quality guys, but they work their tails off every day in practice and on the mat. There's never one thing that I can't say about these guys that I ask them a question or I ask them to do something. They believe in me as a coach and they do it and they get it done. It's a really amazing thing. These guys, how they respond to criticism or they respond to positive when I tell them a good job or if I have to adjust something. In practice, they respond, they get after it, and they do it the next time out there. And that's the whole team as a whole. Whenever we're working in practice, they really they they work their tails off. If you ever go in there after wrestling practice, you can smell the hard work, and you can feel it in the air where the humidity's gotten a little bit up there. So talk a little bit about our season and how it went. As you noticed, I only mentioned 9 guys' names. That's how many guys we have on the wrestling team this year. To fill up a whole entire roster, top to bottom, every weight class is 14 kids. So with that being said, we were going into every match essentially 30 points down, which reflected on our dual team score, or dual team, how we did in dual team. We finished up the season 10-20 on a dual team record, and we finished up in conference play 4-2 and came in third. So really proud of these guys and what they accomplished this year. Out of those 9 guys, I had 7 of them with winning records on the team. So that just shows you if we had a couple extra guys, maybe some other teams had some less guys, we could have definitely won a lot more matches and been really successful. So talking about individuality and how these guys performed as individuals, we had 4 guys in all conference. If you don't know, all conference basically means when we wrestle a team in the conference. These 4 guys won pretty much every single match. You have to win every single match, or maybe if you didn't wrestle for whatever reason, or you went 5-1 in the conference, there's still a chance. But all 4 of my guys won every match in the conference, and that was Luis Garcia, Dakota Call went 5-0 in the conference, Will Flores went 5-0 in the conference, and John Gill Martin went 5-0 in the conference. And that's really awesome for those 4 guys to get all conference, especially 3 of those guys being underclassmen. So definitely have a bright future. After conference play, we go into regionals and then states. So how that works is everybody in our region, they wrestle in a tournament, and this is all individual. You wrestle in your weight class, and it's 16-man brackets. And if you place in the top 4 in regionals, you go to states. I had 3 guys go to states this year, and then 1 guy just missed it, by a point or 2. And I want to mention those guys' names. Robert Russell was 1 guy that went to states. Luis Garcia is our 2nd guy that went to states, and also Will Flores is the 3rd guy that went to states. And the guy that barely missed out is John Gill Martin, and it was a really crazy scramble on his match that kind of put him out, and ended up losing by only a 2-point margin going in there. So good thing that he's an underclassman and he has next year. So so as I mentioned, Luis, Will, and Robert went to states and really competed really well at states. Past years, I've had some guys go into states and be unsuccessful with winning a match. Proud to say that all 3 of these guys won at least a match at states this year. That really says something about these, how hard these guys work, which really takes me in my 2 awards that I want to give out. The 2 awards I'm giving out this year is an MVP award, Most Valuable Player, and a Coaches Award. I'd like to start off with the MVP, Most Valuable Player, and really, basically, it goes off of stats. Most wins, most team points, who can go on the mat, win the match, get us team points, and go far in tournaments, and all in all, just win matches for you. This guy that won this award is one of the state qualifiers. He won 33 matches this year. He's almost on that 100 win mark for his career. I think he's at 93 after he finished up this season, which next year, since he is a junior next year, it's going to be really special when he breaks that 100-win mark. It's really awesome achievement for a high schooler to do. And the one thing that set this guy out from the rest of the team is he got hurt early in the season, second match. He sprains his ankle pretty bad. And he sits out like one match or two, and I'm like, man, I have to have this guy on the mat because he's the one that's going to go out there and win me matches. So basically, I have a conversation with him, and he's practicing, doing rehab, really taking it easy, and not getting to wrestle much. Really not getting to wrestle much. So after a week, obviously it's a sprain ankle. It's a month rehab should put him back on the mat. And I talked with him and our trainer, and he wants to do it. He wants to wrestle. So he goes back out, and he's still winning these matches with a sprained ankle. He's finding ways to win, which is awesome. And then obviously it heals up, especially over Christmas break, really helped it heal up. And then comes back after Christmas break really strong. And then going into the postseason with regionals and states, he ends up getting third in the region, only losing the one guy. And then at states, he loses his second match, and he ends up wrestling 4 or 5 more times to get back, and ultimately he gets 6 in the state, and that's why he's the most valuable player. And Luis, I have your certificate for you whenever we get back in school for your all-state wrestling team. And that's what made him the MVP. Is he's the guy that wrestled on the last day of the season. He wrestled on Saturday when the other two guys that qualified for states, they like I said, they won one, but they were ultimately not wrestling on that last day. My other award I want to give out is the Coaches Award. Essentially, this is the guy that you can count on. He's going to be the guy that leads your team. He's going to be the guy that shows up. He's not missing weight. He's working his tail off every day. He's showing the whole team how to function, right? He's the leader. And this guy, obviously, he's getting this award. So this is the guy that I looked at. I really, at the beginning of the season, or even last year, I didn't think he was going to be able to wrestle because he's doing a program with the school where he works half the day and then comes to school half the day. So as the season started, he told me that he was going to be able to wrestle. The RCC classes that he's going to take starts at 6 o'clock and then goes to 8 o'clock. So this kid comes in, wakes up every day. He gets to work at 7 o'clock. He comes after work to school from 1:30 to 3:30, comes into wrestling practice from 3:30 to 5:30, and then goes back to school at RCC from 6 to 8. This kid's committed. And not to say just that, but this kid never missed a practice. He never missed a wrestling match, never missed a tournament. He had the most matches on our team, and he also had 33 wins. And he's just the guy that you can count on, and that's going to be Will Flores this year. So that's all I have. My 2 awards, really awesome team. I hope to see them all back next year, and it's looking bright in the future. And I hope everybody kind of stays safe through these times and continues to stay safe. And remember, wash your hands, do everything that you need to do to make sure you're getting taken care of. Thank you. And again, I'm Coach Molina, and that was the Randleman Wrestling season.
Ellen Davis, and this is
Mindy Saunders.
And we're the coaches for the Randleman High School cheerleading team. So today we just want to acknowledge all of our cheerleaders and just say a little bit about them. So first I'm going to let you know who all of our cheerleaders were. We started off with a lot more at the beginning of the year, but because cheer is so long, we kind of lose some in the middle, but at the end we ended up with 8 cheerleaders left, and they were dedicated and awesome, and we just want to throw that out there that we love you guys and we thank you for really just putting in all that time. Our first cheerleader is Alexis Fields, Anna Hall, Lily Nelson, Madison Purdue, Madison Leonard, Abby Montone, and Hallie Sawyer, and Aaliyah Ward. So again, thank you girls for just being committed. I know it's hard on everyone with school and jobs and everything like that, and it's so time consuming. So these girls were just very dedicated, and we really appreciate that. We wanted to say thank you to boosters and our athletic directors for just helping us this year. We did a lot of fundraising, and we went to sell donuts and we went to do car washes, but our fundraising was for our competition this year. The athletic director approved it, and the boosters actually paid for us to go to a competition which we have not done in several years. So it's amazing that our girls got to experience that. With that being said, our girls came in second place at states. So we went to Raleigh together, and it was so much fun, and it was a great experience for the girls. And they came in second place, and they worked so hard. But in order to get there, we had to fundraise to pay for our routine, and they learned a whole routine in 2 days. And I think that's absolutely amazing. And they worked endless hours and practices really trying to just critique that routine. Like I said, they put in so much effort, and it's 2 seasons, and it's tiring, and they have to have jobs, and they have to, do well in school, but they just kept it up, and we really appreciate it. And we just think they both have beautiful souls and beautiful hearts and beautiful dedication. We have 2 awards. One is a coach's award, and one is most improved. So I'm gonna do our first one, and then I'll let Mindy do our second one. So our most improved goes to a young lady who was new on the team this year. She put in every effort. When we asked her to do something, she would just try it without hesitation. There was no questioning while we're asking her to do something. There was just anywhere we needed her to go as far as stunt groups. If we wanted her to switch around to see if this would work, she would jump right on in. And then because she was new to the team, she had to learn all of these cheers and routines and stuff like that, dances. And she would come back like the next day and almost have it. So she did really good with that. We could tell she practiced at home a lot. But the most thing that made her stand out as far as improving so much is she was able to get her back handspring very quickly, and then she went straight into her round off back handspring. And all we did was just ask her to throw her round off back handspring while I was standing there spotting her, and she did it. And so it's just that she pushes herself, and she continued to always push herself, and she would never give up on getting it, and it would make her frustrated if she couldn't do it or couldn't do something, so it just made her do it more, and she was totally amazing. So our most improved award goes to Abby Montone. So very good job, Abby. We thank you for all your effort. But our most improved award goes to Abby Montone.
Okay. And next up is our coaches award. This athlete always showed up to practice and games on time, if not early. She is a leader on the team and will always be prepared for games, practices. She always knew what she was doing. She worked hard in cheers as well as school. Our coaches award goes to Anna Hall. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Anna. So we really do appreciate all of our girls. Every single one of them put in like hard work and effort. If we could give an award to all of them, we would. But these two just really stood out to us, and we want to thank you for those efforts. But I also just want to say thank you to every single one of the girls, because without you, our team couldn't have been possible. And you definitely put smiles on our faces during practices and games and everything, just goofing around. And we're going to miss you. And we hate that we didn't get to see you or have an end of the season party. That really stinks, because that's what we were planning on doing. But I know these are different circumstances. So we miss you guys. We love you. And we hope to see you soon. Bye, guys. Bye.
What's up, Tiger Nation? This is Coach Smith, head baseball coach at Randleman. Hope you guys are doing well and staying safe. As you all know, our 2020 baseball season was cut short due to the COVID-19 outbreak. First off, I'd like to thank Mr. Hamilton and his administration team. They support our program year in and year out. They're unbelievable in what they do. Also, I'd like to thank Coach Tobias and the athletic administration. And lastly, I would like to thank the Booster Club for all their support as well. Expectations were incredibly high this year. We were led by 7 amazing seniors. Those seniors were Dominic Poole, Matt Kemp, Ramsey Petty, Trey Cooper, Connor Sterling, Dawson Edwards, and Patrick Miller. These 7 seniors are a coach's dream. I thank them for their hard work and dedication over the past 4 years. This season was off to a great start going forward. To the players, I thank you for your hard work and commitment throughout the year. Lastly, I'd like to thank all the parents of the baseball family. Your support does not go unnoticed.
Hey Tiger Nation, this is Coach Webster here to talk about our varsity softball team. Extremely proud of these young ladies. Obviously the season didn't turn out the way that we thought that it was going to. Honestly, going into the season, I really felt like with the team that we had a group of young ladies that could really make a run, not only in our conference but also in the state tournament. Had a lot of diversity as far as talent-wise. We had all those little pieces that we needed. We had pitching, we had defense, we had depth in our lineup. And so I was really, really excited about this season. Unfortunately, that's changed, and we're dealing with the COVID-19 virus, and everybody across the country and across the world has had to adjust. And that's one of the things that you learn about being an athlete, is the ability to be able to adjust certain situations and also to endure. And so I know that each of you will do well and persevere during this time. One of the guys that I follow on Twitter, Inky Johnson, he's got a little clip out there. He talks about control the things you can control. And that's what we have to do during this time, and also in certain times of our lives. We control the things that we can control. We allow God to handle everything, especially the things that we can't control. But the things that we can control, let's handle those and do them to the best of our ability. And so this situation came, it took the wind out of our sail, but it wasn't anything that we could control. And so we have to continue to endure and fight through. The girls for the Randleman softball team this year, we had a great group. Like I said, our 9th graders was very excited and still very excited about this group and what they're going to bring to the field next year. They consisted of Emma Green, Jessie Perez, Jordan Booker, Kara Varner, Mackenzie Roach, and Savannah Scott. Great group of young ladies. And again, just excited about that group and what they're going to do over the next 3 years for Tiger softball. 10th grader, we only had one this year, and that's Miss Emily Roach, our catcher. 11th grade, another strong group of young ladies. Aaliyah Ratcliffe, Bethany Tobias, Kendall Zachary, Sarah Rice, Sophie Macon, and Mackenzie Green. Great group of girls that have been together for a while, and excited about how they're going to be able to lead us next year as seniors. Our senior class, two unbelievable young ladies, Chloe Hicks and Mackenzie Webster. Chloe is going on to play college softball in Bluefield up in West Virginia. I know that she will do well. Chloe is a phenomenal softball player. She played shortstop and third base for us the last few years. Always hit toward the top of the lineup, usually either second or third. A great bat, good contact hitter, one of our team leaders. But the thing that I would say about Chloe is not only is she a great softball player, but she's just a great person. And when a coach can say that somebody is a great person, that's a compliment. She always works hard. She shows up to practice. She's the young lady that shows up before practice to help get things ready. She stays late to help put things away. Always ask if she can help. Just a great person. And Chloe, I just want you to know that it's been a privilege for me to be able to coach you the last couple of years, and I'm excited about the future that you have. I know that you will do well on the softball field at Bluefield. I have no question or no doubt about that. But I also know that you'll do well as being a nurse, and you'll do well at doing anything that you do in life because you have that work ethic, and you have that character, and you have that attitude that will help you be successful. And so, Chloe, I wish you nothing but the best, and I know that there are great things in store for you, and I look forward to hearing more about it, and look forward to making that drive up to West Virginia and watching you play some. The other senior on our team is Mackenzie Webster. Obviously, Mackenzie is my daughter. She's played second base for Randleman. Usually hits somewhere in the 4 or 5 hole. Good glove, good bat. The thing that Mackenzie always brings to any team or any group that she's around is just a fun atmosphere. One of her gifts during the softball season was always keeping things light, always keeping things fun, and that's something that every team needs. Every successful team needs that person that's going to push and to hold teammates accountable, and to get people to work harder. But Mackenzie was always that player that had the ability to be able to make people laugh and to make things light, and to make it just a good atmosphere to be in. Good softball player, a varsity starter for 4 years, and just a great player. Next year will be the first year that I will be coaching softball without her being on the field, and that'll be different. It'll be different. I don't know how to even think about that, but that's what it will be. Mackenzie, it's been a joy to coach you since you were 4 years old. You've been at the ball field all your life, watching your brother play, and then you starting to play, from t-ball to travel ball to middle school to high school, and it has been a great journey. I've enjoyed all the times on the field, but the thing that I've enjoyed the most is the memories that have been made off the field. The drives to and from the game, the hotel rooms that we've been able to stay in, the restaurants that we've eaten in, and the places that we've been able to go because of softball, singing in the car. and dancing and all the silly stuff that we've done because of softball. And for that, I'm forever grateful, and I appreciate you allowing me to be your coach. I felt like we always did a good job in the coach-daughter standpoint. I never made it easy on you. I never let you have a free pass. I was always harder on you, I felt like, than anybody else. But you always endured, and from your dad and as your coach, I'm extremely proud of you. Use the qualities that you have, and become great, and do great things as I know that you will. Our last game, we were driving to Providence Grove to play, and I just knew in my heart that this was it. And we were driving, and I'll never forget, all the girls were in the back, and they were singing and just having a good time, and I'm up there driving the bus. I've got my sunglasses on, and I've got tears coming down my cheek because I knew that this was going to be our last game, and I knew that it was going to be Chloe's last game as a high schooler, and I knew that it was going to be Mackenzie, my daughter's, last game of softball ever. And it was tough. It was tough. I was a mess, even that game. I even coached differently. I let the girls play free. I let the girls be aggressive and do what they felt comfortable doing. And it was fun, but I knew that it was going to be it. And I hate that it ended that way. But the reality is that's the way life is sometimes. And so again, we have to endure, and we control the things that we control. To this group of softball players, you ladies are phenomenal. And I say this to the parents as well. Please know that your daughters are superstars in my book. They work hard. They represent you and Tiger Nation very well. You have everything to be proud of for this group of young ladies. And for those girls that will be returning next year, continue to work hard in the off season. Once you're able to get back on the field, get back on the field. And we've got a great chance over the next couple of years to really make a difference, and really, seriously, I believe this, to make a run at a state championship. I'd also like to thank our coaches. We've got a great coaching staff. I'd like to thank Coach Sarah Adams and Coach Jason Scott for all their help, just putting in countless hours along with me to invest in these girls and to help make them better. And so, coaches, thank you for all that you do and all that you've done. And we look forward to getting back on the ball field. Thank you, Tiger Nation. Thank you for all of your support and your help over the last couple years. We have one of the best athletic programs in the state. We have one of the nicest softball fields, in this area, and that's because of the support of Tiger Nation and our community. And so I want to say thank you to everybody for their support, and we look forward to next year's softball season. Thank you.
Hey, welcome, boys and girls track teams. It's been a while since we've had a chance to talk to you. Our coaches, Coach Holyfield in shot and discus, Coach Bowman in the long distance, the mile and 2 mile primarily, Coach Simmons in the sprints, Coach Poole in the high jump and sprints, and Coach Mitchell in the hurdles, and Coach McNair in the long and triple jumps. We've all missed you, and I know y'all are eager to get back to doing something, but unfortunately this is the end of our season. When they announced that we weren't going to have school anymore for the rest of the year, that became the end of our season. Right now, I'd like to recognize our seniors on the teams. We had 60 people out for track. We had 37 guys and 23 girls. And that's good numbers, and we've been able to compete successfully with that size of a team. But I'd like to recognize our seniors, our men's seniors, Benji Garcia, Corey Ingram, Brandon Price, Corey Smith, Jaquan Snipes, and Robbie Wilson. On the girls, we have Katie Kocher, Savannah Price, and May Zing. And these seniors will get a senior plaque whenever they can come over and pick it up after we do this video for awards banquets. This is kind of our virtual awards banquets. I'd like to recognize the rest of the team members. I'm just going to call them out. For the boys, Chad Bartlett, Jameson Beebe, Logan Bolin, Corey Brewer, Zach Cameron, Jordan Freeman, Benji Garcia, Chris Gentry, Joseph Gordon, Mason Hewlin, Corey Ingram, Cameron Johnson, Landon Jones, Tyson Kite, Kobe Kinney, Christian King Cassidy, Andrew Leonard, Alex Manus, Caleb Mitchell, Harrison Moffitt, Chase Moore, Amarion Moton, John Ortiz, Caleb Pierce, Jake Penadamas, Brandon Price, Joseph Price, Logan Richardson, Michael Silver, Jamie Smith, Corey Smith, Jaquan Snipes, Alex Soto, Josh Tabb, Stephen Trim, Dwight Vale, and Robbie Wilson. For the girls, we have Caroline Allred, Alexis Baker, Exania Brown, Cece Carter, Gabrielle Carter, Kalia Coleman, Jasmine Cornejo, Amelia Estep, Haley Haynes, Sydney Henniger, Katie Kocher, Zoe McIver, Paris McQuaig, Haylin Neese, Haley Pascal, Annalise Perez, Savannah Price, Alexis Robbins, Brittany Russell, Hallie Sawyer, Harley Stokes, Kylie Vaughn, and May Zing. Unfortunately, we didn't get to run a track meet this year. We had passed out, these are all the people that passed out uniforms. That means they have been to practice since February and have been to practice every day up to March 10th. Gave out the track uniforms on March 9th. March 10th was rainy, and so they postponed it to March 12th. And March 12th, they canceled because the state of North Carolina at that time had athletic association has suspended all activities, extracurricular activities after school. And we got out of school on March 13th. That was our last day of school. Our seniors, I feel real bad for them because they didn't get a chance to participate and to really excel that senior year. It seems like seniors really do a lot better on their senior year because they know it's their last chance to excel and do well. And I'd just like to recognize some of the winners from last year that would probably have won this year, and that would have been Benji Garcia in the running events and Katie Kocher in the running events, and Brandon Price in the throwing events, in the field events, and Savannah Price probably in the field events. But another one that's not a senior is Kylie Vaughn, and she did real well last year in the shot and discus. Only thing I have to say is that at some point before the end of the year, we need to get these uniforms turned in. I need you to, when you turn them in, you can turn them in at the office. Make sure that somebody puts your name on your uniform. I'll be over here 3 to 2 days a week. I'm not getting paid to be here, so I'll come on. I'm working on the track. It's going to look real good when we get it ready next year. Have it ready for the beginning of next year. It's going to look really good. But I need you to turn those uniforms in either after you hear this message and turn them in at the office. Make sure they put your name on that uniform. I'll have some boxes up there that they can put the uniforms in. Make sure so I can check off your name. I'll get all the names, all the note cards on the uniform. So if you would, when you get ready to turn it in, put your name on a note card or a Post-it and put it on your uniform. Make sure that somebody gets it and puts it in the box. And I'll check you off. Need to have this done by whenever we plan graduation. That'll be the last day that you'll be able to do it, will be graduation day. So let's get those in as quick as possible. Thank you.
Randleman High School men's tennis coach Mitchell here. Hope everybody's doing well and staying healthy. Just wanted to give a shout out to my assistant coach, Coach Cable, and my boys tennis team this year. Jonah Lopez, my #1 player, has made huge gains this year. It's been a joy to coach and a great leader. Cody Kivett, big strides. Kid's getting good. I'll tell you, Cade Lanier, Ian Cable, Victor Tess, Josiah Trout, great young men. Don't know where in the world I'd be without them. But I miss you guys, and we'll get back at it next year. Hopefully this year we can, this summer we can stay in touch. Maybe hit some tournaments when all this restriction lets up. Hope to hear from you guys soon from time to time. And you guys bonded like brothers. You pushed each other to succeed. And you guys just made it a joy for me to be out there. I miss it. Miss you guys. Love you and look forward to seeing you out on the court.
All right, Tigers. Hope you enjoyed those messages from your coaches. I know it's a little bit different than what we're accustomed to with our banquet, but these are definitely different times in which we're living right now. But I'd like to just do a little recap of some of the individual accomplishments and team accomplishments, quick rundown, kind of just go over everything. And we had a lot of success in an abrupted year. Only got to conclude the fall and winter sports, but still experienced a high level of success. And I'd like to go over a few of those awards. Within the fall and the winter seasons, Randleman won 3 conference championships. Football won their 3rd straight consecutive Pac-7 conference championship. The women's basketball program won a conference championship. Again, they're back-to-back. They're 2nd in a row. And our men's basketball team also won the conference championship. So a very successful fall and winter season. In those seasons, we had 34 total student athletes be selected to the Pac-7 all-conference teams. And of those 34, we had 6 individual student athletes that were recognized as Player of the Year for their respective sports. We've got the Player of the Year in the Pac-7 for men's basketball, women's basketball. We got the Player of the Year both for defense and offense in football. We had the men's cross-country Runner of the Year, and we had the Co-Player of the Year in volleyball. So just a tremendously talented group of individuals, a lot of success experienced in the conference. A lot to be said for the hard work of the student athletes and the coaches of those sports. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about some school scholarships that we give, our booster club, and also some awards that recognize some of our student athletes of our senior class. 2 student athletes, Dawson Edwards and Taylor Gant, were recognized earlier by the Randolph Sports Council. They will receive a $500 scholarship, and this is usually recognized in a banquet, but again, things changed a little bit this year, and they weren't able to attend those banquets. So we want to take our opportunity to recognize that award. Next is our Randleman Athletic Booster Scholarships. Our Booster Club gives $500 scholarships to 3 student athletes. And these scholarships are named in memory of some tremendous Randleman Tigers, Coach Charlie Gregory, Ronnie Pugh, and Connor Beeson. These scholarships are based on not only athletic achievements, but student athletes that represent Randleman High School within their community and their families, and just out and about all around tremendous student athletes and people of good character. This year, the Charles Gregory Scholarship goes to football player Brandon Price. Can't say enough about Brandon. Again, he's a tremendous athlete, but he's even a better person in the classroom, does tremendous in school, and he'll be continuing his education at North Carolina A&T University. The next scholarship is the Ronnie Pugh Scholarship. This year, the scholarship was given to softball player Chloe Hicks. Chloe is, again, another tremendous student athlete, even better person in the hallway. She will be continuing her education at Bluefield College in West Virginia, where she will also play softball. And finally, the Connor Beeson Scholarship. Connor was a wrestler here at Randleman High School, and this scholarship is named in his memory to someone who is typically a wrestler and a student athlete. And this year, the scholarship goes to Kevin Cruz, also a wrestler here and a football player, and he runs track. So Kevin is a tremendous 3-sport athlete, and like Connor, he's a tremendous person, somebody that represents the Randleman High School and Randleman community well. And then our final awards are the inaugural award of Greg Ferguson. We talked a little bit about in the football segment. This is the first year we've given this award. And in honor of Coach Ferguson, this is given to somebody that is just a fine representation of our school, of our athletic program, and most of all, just a tremendous work ethic and great character. And Jaquan Snipes is the recipient of that award this year. Again, this is the inaugural year for that award, and a fine representation for the first year of that award. And then lastly, we choose 2 students to be recognized with the Charles Gregory Outstanding Student Athlete Award, 1 senior male and 1 senior female athlete. Again, these student athletes embody what it means to be a Randleman Tiger. Just tremendous work in the classroom, great personality, trustworthy, somebody that you can really rely on to lead your team, and not only in the athletic fields, but in the classroom as well. The female recipient for the Charles Gregory Outstanding Athlete, this is Chloe Hicks. Again, Chloe will be attending Bluefield College this year to continue her education and play softball. The male recipient for the Charles Gregory Award this year is student athlete Dominic Poole. Again, a tremendous 3-sport athlete for Randleman. He will be continuing his education and football and baseball career at the Citadel. Finally, I'd like to take a minute to recognize a group of seniors that have signed their national letter of intent to continue their education and college athletic careers. The first one is Taylor Gant. She will play basketball at the University of Lynchburg. Next is Will Anderson. He will play soccer at Mars Hill. Chloe Hicks will play softball for Bluefield College. We have 4 football players that have signed their letters of intent. Dominique Poole continue his education at the Citadel. Jaquan Snipes will continue his education at Hampton University. Dawson Edwards will continue his education at Barton College. And finally, Kevin Cruz will continue his education at Guilford College. And finally, we have our baseball players. We also have 4 baseball players that have signed their national letters of intent to continue their education and play baseball at the next level. First is Matt Kent, who will attend UNCG. Next is Trey Cooper, who will attend NC State University. Next is Ramsey Petty, who will play baseball and continue his education at UNC Pembroke. And then finally, as mentioned with football, Dominic Poole, who will also play baseball for the Citadel. In conclusion, Tigers, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, it's a little something different, but hopefully with this message and these videos from these coaches, you know that how much the Randleman community, the coaches and the administration care for you and want to see you succeed. And again, we're always here for you. hope everything is healthy with your family and you, and look forward to seeing you soon and getting back into the routine of practice and school. Take care.